BBK. It's sad.
No bap.
No bap though. With the birds, the bloods, the SWAN with no friends.
No,
Real wicked, and we up and blick on the. If I call us the ECK then, on blood.
They say y'all catching bodies, where they at? I can't be. Nigga ask about me, they gon' say I flip C's. When we doing chase downs, we ain't aiming at no knees. We been looking for your head, spot it out, then we squeeze. I got 7.62s for them 7.6 dudes. Y'all niggas ain't wiggle nothing, y'all gon' end up on the news. And you 6-pack niggas, we been giving y'all the flus. Catch a Riverside, nigga, knock that nigga out of shoes.
The homies is outside, bro. I don't know about nobody else hood and nobody else homies, but we outside, blood. And it's a regular day, understand? It's Friday. On Blood Gang.
Rap News Street Politics, the best hood channel on YouTube, and we back in South Central with the most dangerous blood hood on the east side. Mad Swan, the neighborhood Family Swan Bloods. Now the Swans on the east side hold a deadly reputation, and a lot has been going on within the last 5 years between them and their enemigos getting cracking over here on the east side. Now the Swans are known to push CK everything, beefing with all the Crips in the city and surrounded by all their enemies over here in this section. But in the last few years, we've seen a lot heating up, with East Coast dropping 60 rounds at one of their Candlelights on 91st on a back-to-back murder, and the Swans allegedly putting up 70 points on 81st and Compton on some young dudes from 7-6 East Coast. So we really got to start with that. Now, we seen the Swans say they've been putting belt to ass on their enemies since day 3 from 6-pack East Coast. Dropped that knock 'em down record in about 2023. But in 2022, shit was playing out way before that in a war that a lot of people don't be talking about. And a key age for a lot of these victims that we gonna speak on in this video, 16 years old. So back in September 22, off 81st and Compton, the middle of 7-6 East Coast hood, it said that two 16-year-olds was over here on foot when a white Honda pulls up and drops 70, killing Brandon McLucas and Colin Halliburton, both from 7-6 East Coast Crip. Now these was two young kids, but as we can see, they was still outside with the activities, still gangbanging. And on the same day, on 81st, the same block, I don't know if all of these people got hit at the same time, but 43-year-old Paul Shepard was also killed right along with these two young members from 7-6 on 81st. And one thing we know, the Swans have a grip of young homies, especially right now. They got a crazy recruitment class from the 70s to the 90s. It's a lot of these young dudes outside, especially in this section. But another thing we see in this back and forth between Swans and the coast is exactly that, the back and forth. So the next day, on an extremely hot block in the Swans, 91st and Wadsworth, it said the East Coast got their get back where somebody named Alan Carter was killed over here right in the middle of FSB hood. And this just the beginning for what's going down in this section with the Swans and everybody over here that they beefing with. So like I said, the Mad Swans, MSB, is gonna be its own individual set over here on the east side, going from 75th down to Manchester between San Pedro and Central. Now they do have West Main that does bleed over here to that Broadway market between 82nd and 75th. I've seen some people say they not at the Broadway liquor, they for show over here, stretching all the way down to Grand. These dudes have an extremely large hood in the MSB. Main blocks, 77, 79, 80, 84th. And all around Fremont High School has historically been known to be the Swan Bloods. Now NHF, Neighborhood Family Swans, is going between Manchester and 92nd, north to south between McKinley and Central. They main blocks 92nd, 89th. We talked about 91st being a hot spot though. And we also spoke about 88th and Wadsworth on this channel as well, with the 88 clique being a part of FSB. Now with the family on the Swans, this is where they share their alliance with the Inglewood Family Bloods and the Centinela Park Family Bloods in Inglewood. One of few alliances that they have in the city. The next one is also going to be what's known as VSOP, where the Swans is clicked up with the Bloods and the Low Bottoms, pushing 20s to the 90s with the Bloodstone Villains, Eastside Rolling 20 Outlaw Bloods, and Rolling 30 and Rolling 40 Bloodstone Pyrus over here in the lows. Now this section is where they do inherit this 4-pack beef, beefing with 4 Deuce, 4 Trey, and 4-8. And we seen that beef come alive on Broadway in Manchester with Tiny Let Go being killed over here at the smoke shop, who was from 4-8 Gangsta Crip. Now a lot of buzz going on about that situation between the Hoovers and the Swans getting cracking over here with Tiny Let Go. But the Swans do beef it with the 4-pack. Now everybody knows 4-pack is moving coast to coast, as well as 8-7 and 9-7. And we know the Swans in the coast right now is going crazy. And we see the coast borders the Swan hood. So across Central, you have that 7-6 area where they pulled that skit, dropping 70 points. You have 8-9, and you have the Kitchen Crips just east of Central from the Swans. All they enemigos. To the north, you got the 6-pack. And like I said, with the Swans pushing CK everything, they definitely beefing with the Gangsta Crips. Even though they cool with IFG, they not doing none of that Sue moving and grooving business. They with all the gunplay with the gangsters too. That's why we see him over here beefing with 88 Avalon and 7 Trey Gangsta Crip.
And all that. CK. East to west and all that. Nigga, anything that's a Crip. Nigga, all Crip. Nigga, everything. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Nigga, anything that's a Crip, I'm on that. Nigga, dead punks. Gangsta Crip, all that. East to west, snoopers and all that.
So the situation with 7 Trey is not a big hood, going from Florence to 75th between Grand and Avalon. And they also going to include 7 Trey Hustler Crip, DNA, and 7 Trey also has a connection with the 10 Line Gangsta Crips. But even though 7 Trey is not a big hood, we see these dudes putting it down against the Swans. Just earlier this month, June 4th, there was a shooting on 85th between Avalon and Stanford. Now, nobody ended up getting killed in that situation. But 2 days later, 73rd and Broadway, a man named Corey Shaw was shot multiple times in his back. 2 days after that shooting in the Swans on 85th, it went down in the 7 Trey Gangsters. Again, that's this month. Regardless of the size of 7 Trey, they getting active in the Swans, beefing with the gangsters for sure. And another top enemy they have is across San Pedro from them with the main streets. Now they beefing with all the 984, the 9840 completely. And a couple months ago, back in February, we seen them taunting a member named Lil Boogie, another 16-year-old killed who was from 98 Main Street. It said that he was killed in the alley as well. And after Lil Boogie was killed, somebody from Swans did lose their life, 16-year-old Hayden Neighbor. Now the streets initially thought this was get back for Lil Boogie, but it came out that Hayden Neighbor ended up losing his life from being hit by a car over here on the east side. But we see somebody named Redface, one of their top young members that got a face card in this section, taunting these young murders out here. Now, his rap name is Redface. Some people call him CK Face. But if y'all know what's going on in the Swans, y'all done seen this dude. After Lil Boogie was killed in this situation, we seen him whacking out Main Street, talking about his mama praying that he make it through it, and saying that he should have ran faster. So it's definitely hot over here between the Swans and the main streets.
If I catch you with your mama, you get it passed. But if I see you with your bitch on the gang, I'm on your ass if you ain't trying to catch the body. Pass me the strap, I'ma walk a nigga down before he knock me out the mat. 779, 804, 89 dudes. Everybody start running every time he come through.
Now, a couple months ago, it said that somebody from East Coast was caught out of bounds in the Swans, Baby G Soul. Now, Baby G Soul, Gary Young from 9-7 East Coast Crip, did lose his life in this alleyway from a gunshot wound to the neck. And we see somebody did record him, further fueling the fire to this beef between East Coast and the Swans, where they seen him on the stretcher and all of that, fighting for his life. And you know, this is low-key what's making Redface a target. I know he's extremely active already, so it's nothing. And a lot of these young dudes in the Swans are extremely active. I seen some where somebody said he caught a head tap. I don't know how true that is, if he actually did get hit or if he just got his feet whooped in a situation. But he is somebody that's a target over here on the east side because he do be popping it and his homies do be outside.
Good YJs. Yes, sir, it's good. Not at the Barnable, blood. We smoking weed with the kids. We already gangbanging up here, blood. We can. Damn, blood. YG's looking good out here. Okay. Yeah. Throw your shit out, blood. All y'all. All y'all. Hold on, blood. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, blood.
Now, the Swans are also known to have some blood beef as well. They've been known to beef with Bebop Watts. I'm pretty sure they got a ceasefire with Bebop, but not too long ago, we seen Bebop talking about the Swans lit they shit up. We know Bebop is not controlling a large hood over here, but they still here. And we know the Swans have been known to beef it with the Denver Lane Gangsta Bloods. Now, I think that situation is also in the ceasefire, but the Swans is not shy to get cracking. And across 92nd, where Bebop is, they also beefing with 97 East Coast. And since Front Street be cool with 97 and the Kitchens, they beefing with the Front Streets too. Front Street is a hood that's low-key being very active as of lately. Now, we know Front Street, I believe, is really going heavy with Grape Street right now. We'll speak on that in another video, but Front Street also beefing with the Swans. And the key thing that people talk about with the Swans is the relationship with the Hoovers. So like I said, the Swans is not with that moving, grooving, and swooping shit. But some members do be rocking with the Hoovers. And we see some members considering the Hoovers to be Crips and cutting them off completely. So I think they got a rocky relationship. We know the Five Deuces are the true Crips of the Hoovers, but they do share a common enemy in the coast and the main streets. So we see some Swan members kicking it with the Hoovers, other ones are saying fuck the Hoovers. But that's what you're gonna get when you have somewhat of a robust young life over here on the east side. Now, along with that, they do got Sureño allies and enemies as well. We know Florencia is sharing this section with the Swans. They on good terms with them, but the Swans is beefing with Barrio Majados. We talked about DNA, who's over there with 7 Trey Gangsters. The Swans beefing with them, and they beefing with Southside Carnales. We seen the Swans kicking over the Carnales Candles, and the Carnales and Barrio Majados do bleed West Main over here too. So it's a lot of friction that goes on over here by the Broadway market. And we also know the 3-Star market is also a daily place in the Swans on Avalon.
And I'm screaming for my brothers. Bitches that he saying that they love us. Palm baby, I was raised up in the gutter. His name here, watch me bust it. It's big boogie boys when we stump. I put that good dice up like I love it. She like Ron, baby, tough. A nigga just walked in, I got her blush. They know it's bleak, yeah, we up it like we bust. We got them choppers out the oven. Nigga play with us, duck, we have them duck. We caught him walking, had to spark it at his mom. I'm trying to talk.
Now, we spoke about the Young Life. They got a lot of rappers that's coming out of the Swans, man. A lot of representation over here on the east side when it comes to the music. We know S-Dot. S-Dot somebody that we see for many years rapping over here and being a representative of this Swan shit. Shout out to S-Dot, and y'all go make sure y'all go check his music out. Y'all remember Money Monk, a former member of the Stink Team. Now, that's crazy because we spoke on this prior. The Stink Team's connection with them neighborhood Crips, and just Crips in general with the Stink Team. Money Monk and them was cool with Draco and a part of the Stink Team. He's not anymore. We ain't seen him in a long time, but somebody we saw with him who was kicking it with the Stink Team was Fucker. Now, Fucker got some shit, man. It's 2 records that I've been listening to that fell back with 804 Eyes or another rapper coming out the Swans. And then that Florence to 92nd. That Florence to 92nd, he gassed that shit. He's not that consistent with the rapping, but it has some Stink Team elements in it. It was gas.
Where the fuck them niggas at? 61st to 7-0. We ain't gotta say no names. Niggas know we up to scope. We heard them niggas songs, all that line, yeah, they cap. We the niggas spinning blocks, that's why they want some get back. They'll never get that. We just taught to wipe a nose. If we spin a nigga block, best believe we get them gone. We been frontline, nigga. Y'all acting like y'all don't know. Every time y'all try to spin, the whole game blew they pole. We been.
And some of y'all may know him from that The Real MVP TV interview where he said he had laid down some dudes from Main Street, where he basically said after the first kill, it becomes easy. So that's like the motto for the Swans over here. I'm gonna keep it real. But C-Star has spoke on this dude, saying he has some paperwork. Now, I don't have any paperwork on him. Y'all know we be having it. I haven't seen it. I can't speak on it. Y'all tell C-Star if he got the paperwork on Foot Clan, then drop it. I seen he released a snippet. You know, we couldn't really tell what it was, what was going on, you know, but he said that the B team is somewhat harboring Foot Clan and not addressing this paperwork, specifically the who's who's. I don't know why, but C-Star has alleged that Foot Clan did made some statements at one point. That's to be seen. But other young dudes we got coming out of here, Rhyme, Easy Rhyme, he got some fire. YB, Eastside Janky, them is them young members that be with Redface as well. They all through the Swans and they putting it down. We can't forget Gutter Bracken. We know that's a big name that's coming off the east side. Be doing a lot of features with a lot of top rappers and East Side Gunner. Money Mode, one of the older members over here. And if y'all like them older members rapping, Shaka, who also has a face card in this section, he also be doing music. So the Swans got a lot of musical representation coming out the east side over here that y'all can check out. Now, like I said, with Money Muck and them being cool with the Stink Team at one time, we see the Stink Team has took a different stance across Florence, really being tight with the 6-pack. And like I said, the Swan said ever since Day 3 dropped that Knock 'em Down record, they said they've been putting belt to ass on the coast.
Wiggle up and knock 'em down. Sways know they not around. All the thing get around my coast, Crips gon' dig 'em down. 6-pack, we on the map. I know you niggas heard of that deuce block, the S block. My niggas really on that. Chopper with a black mask, from Billy out of black bag. We sliding in the blackjack, blue hundreds out the backpack.
And then we see Day 3 double down on the Knock 'em Down record and put Fat Jack on the remix. Fat Jack from Neighborhood 90 Crip. Now, Fat Jack is somebody you gotta leave him at J.O. because he's starting problems. On that It's Regular, he's dissing. So like I said, these dudes doubled down on the beef by putting Fat Jack on that remix. But a lot of shit has been going down with the 6-pack. We see Jet Beezy. It was some conversations about Jet Beezy hood hopping from Neighborhood Hunters to the East Coast. Now, I seen this video where he is throwing up and said rolling hunters. It looked like he was in high school. I can't say we know that, we not doing none of that, but the internet's coming for Jet Beezy over that right now. Now, we know he's a top young rapper coming out the 6-pack, and we know somebody did catch him in traffic. Now, that situation where they caught him in traffic in the whip, I'm gonna have to say it's bunk because whoever put the camera on him didn't get cracking either. They talking about he wasn't cracking, he was ducking. Whoever cut the camera on wasn't cracking either. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But also, Infant Deuce had just got his chain snatched by the Hoovers. And then for sure was his chains. We seen him wearing them. He be with Day 3 as well, but we did see it looked like he already got his get back. Now, I don't know if that was somebody from Hoover. Him and his homies was jumping on recently, but it looked like he done redeemed himself after he got yanked on out. Somebody said that he said he didn't bang. He wasn't from the coast. In the video, I didn't hear him say he didn't bang. I heard him bang on him. I heard him stay quiet, and then I heard the pause getting put on him. So I don't know if he turned it down like Hito did, but that's what's going on over there in the East Coast. But like I said, they are full participants in this war with the Swans. And I'll say it again, in the last few years, it's been cracking between these hoods. So back in December 2020, it said that the 6-pack was kicking it on 62nd and San Pedro. We know that's the top spot, royalty market. That's where they be at hanging out, all of the 6-pack. Primarily 6 Deuce for sure. But it said that Richard Perry from 6'6" and Devon Woodson from 6 Deuce was hanging out over here with Young Snoopy, Eastwood, and another dude named Brandon Brown, all from 6'9". Now, a couple dudes, Richard Perry, Lil Habit, and Infant Shorty, ended up sliding down San Pedro and busting a left on 92nd Street. On 92nd, they ended up getting on Wadsworth to that hot block over here in the FSB hood, 91st. And it said at 6 p.m., still daylight outside, 3 dudes jump out and form a gun line and start busting on 91st and Wadsworth, killing a member of FSB named Tyrone Wolford, and then getting on and going back up to 62nd to finish functioning with their homies. Now, the next day, December 10th, very next day, the Swans are holding the Candlelight for Tyrone over here on 91st and Wadsworth. Emotions are high. It's a bad situation. The 6-pack spins again at the Candlelight. They pull up right before midnight, this time 5 deep, and they drop 60 points on 91st and Wadsworth at the Candlelight. Now, 2 people ended up getting hit. One of them, Nathaniel Caldwell, he caught a bullet to the leg, ended up driving himself to the hospital, but a female named Ayanna Treadway, both of them allegedly are from FSB, but Ayanna ended up losing her life over here at this Candlelight, celebrating the life of their fallen homie, man. And this was the 6-pack's way of upping the score. And this is why the Swans allegedly dropped 70 on 81st and Compton. But like a lot of situations and a lot of hits, mistakes were made. So when police got to the scene and got to Ayanna Treadway's body, they ended up finding a set of keys laying in the street. Now, at the Candlelight earlier that night, somebody from Swans had went down. Like I said, this is a delicate scene. This is a Candlelight, another murder. Emotions are high. So somebody ended up going to jail for what? I'm not sure. But the police figured that those keys belonged to somebody from Swans. So they picked them up bare hands, had no gloves. This is evidence. Still picked it up. So they went down the street trying to unlock the car that matched the keys. On the keys, it was an Audi key fob and a set of house keys. And they put the keys in the evidence when they couldn't unlock any of the cars on the block. Now, that's some nasty shit. Just trying to unlock some cars, they was finna go through some shit on the under and probably find a gun, or you know what I'm saying? You already know how it go. But after that situation, that's when the surveillance cameras started to get glued in, and the past 2 nights started to play themselves out. So the night before, after Richard Perry and them from 6'6" had killed Tyrone, They follow surveillance all the way back up to 62nd and San Pedro. On 62nd, they see a blue Audi that belonged to young Snoopy, but the blue Audi didn't take place in the murder on December 9th. But they do see the SUV that's registered to Richard Perry over here on 91st December 9th, and then flying back to 62nd and San Pedro. Now, December 10th, surveillance video showed them 5 dudes sliding back to 70th. Now, 70th is a part of 6-9. Now, I'm waiting for 7-0 to be a full East Coast set. 6-9 be pushing 7-0. They write 7-0. We see it everywhere. I'm waiting for there to be an official East Side 7-0 East Coast Crip. Right now, 7-0 is just a main block that 6-9 hangs out on. But I'll predict that one day it will be its own East Coast set. But nonetheless, on December 10th, they find these guys sliding back to 70th, and they pretty much got an idea of how everything played out over here on 91st. So when they go to 70th, again, that same blue Audi is there this time. But the blue Audi also, again, wasn't at the scene on December 10th either. But this is when they get up on young Snoopy and find out that this key fob that was recovered at the scene on 91st matches this blue Audi on 70th. So shit is already going really bad after this move. But you know what blow this shit up every time? The snitching. Richard Perry from 6-6 East Coast Crip went out bad after the slide. He got picked up because his SUV that's registered to his name for some reason, I don't know why he would use that car, but it was caught at the murder scene on December 9th. So he automatically goes down driving his car. He comes up with this elaborate story saying the night that everything went down with Tyrone, everybody's kicking it on 62nd, plotting on a party. The usual. He says since he ain't got his L's or some shit, Lil Habit or Infant Shorty took the wheel and ended up driving to 91st. He said when they got to 91st, they stopped at the liquor store. I'm assuming maybe the liquor bank on 89th. I don't know. But he said they stopped at a store and he just heard some popping and got down. He said his homies had ran back in the car and they flew back over to 62nd. He said he didn't know that his vehicle was used in the shooting until the police pulled him over, telling him that the vehicle was used in the shooting. And at this point, he ended up pointing everybody out. He pointed out young Snoopy and Eastwood, even though they wasn't even there for the first murder. He got down on them about the second murder, and he helped his homies go up the river for dropping 60 points out of Candlelight on a back-to-back murder scene. And this dude say he a former member of 6-6. Of course he is now, but he ended up signing up for 3 years on the plea deal. They gave him a hell of a deal for a double homie over here on the east side in the Swans. Now, this type of situation has been going down over here for years. This war has been going on crazy with the Swans, East Coast, Main Street, 7 Trey. This is how they got the injunction put on them, along with Florencia being over here, but doing all this around Fremont High School. Now, that injunction came about in like 2009, but dudes from 7 Trey had shot into a crowd of Swans and ended up killing an 8-year-old girl. The Main Streets was taking hostages over here in the Swans. It was just too much going on in this situation, and we see it still cracking. And the kitchens, if y'all remember our Kitchen Crip video, where we said they had turned into some serial killers, where they did 7 murders for the get back of their homie. They was looking for Swans primarily, and the bounty hunters down by their 11-6 hood. But they was over here hunting on Swans. And they've also, like I said, have linked up with Front Street, dissing the Swans. Now, other murders we seen over here recently, 80th and Avalon, Olive and Manchester, 84th and San Pedro, Hooper and Firestone in the kitchens. Another murder in the 8-9s on 91st and Compton, 90th and Central, Manchester and Central. A lot has been adding up with these Eastside Swans, and this is what I'm talking about with the activity. And when I said the most active, you know, a lot of people will think about the Pueblos and the bounty hunters. But the key thing and the key differences y'all gotta realize is block banging is different from project banging. The Pueblos and the bounty hunters occupy their projects. This Swan hood, all of it is the front line, surrounded by their enemies. There is no back hood, there is no cut. Every single block over here is pretty much a frontline section. And this is what makes the Swans extremely active and has gotten them to this point of aggression with their enemigos. Now, when I spoke about that 10-line gangster and 7 Trey gangster connection, I was over here in the 7 Treys and I seen the 10 lines hitting up. I'm like, man, you know, the East Side 10-line gangsters in Watts are far from the 7 Trey gangsters over here between Florence and 75th. I don't know how that connection has came about. I don't know if some of the young homies have linked up in the halls and glued it together with the 7 Treys, but we did see the 10 lines and the 7 Treys tag teaming and performing on the Swans in 2020. Now, this was in the middle of the summer, July 2020, where a dude from 10 Line that went down named Dejon Grant. And he went down for the murder of Sean Smith over here on 81st and Avalon, middle of Swan Hood. Right by that 3-star market that I was telling you about is a very active and deadly spot in this section. Sean Smith was hit 12 times. As you can see, these dudes putting up basketball numbers with these killings on the east side. Now, this was just after midnight, 10 Line and 7 Trey together. Now, a month after this, they try to take out 2 other Hispanic dudes at a Burger King. I don't know if it's the Burger King in the kitchens, but they ended up hitting them, but not taking them all the way out. But after this, Grant from 10 Line goes down and ends up doing the bad work like so many people. Tails on everybody and said he's scared and he had to do this move on the Swans because the 7 Treys and his homies would kill him if he didn't participate. Now we know the 10 Line's over here beefing with Grape, Hat Gang, PJ Watt, 7th Street, but they're full participants in this war against the Mad and the neighborhood family Swans, regardless of their territory. And I think this is why the Swans have no shame in putting CK on anything, because Crips is coming from all over the place to get cracking. We see the Insanes was just telling the Swans from Long Beach about yanking on a chain and dissing the Eastside Swans.
Yeah, tell your homies come get their shit back.
Sways, nigga.
I wasn't saying you straight her killer. I wasn't saying Kip. ASM, dead homies. That's why I'm right around dead.
So again, this area, nothing to play with, no games being played from the Bloods over here. And y'all make sure y'all stay out this section. When you come over here in these Swans, man, you can feel this shit in the air. This is the gutter. This is the hood. Not far from Watts. If y'all think Watts is gutter, this part of town is on the same type of time with the bullshit on the east side. But nonetheless, man, y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to the Best Hood channel on YouTube. We're going to continue providing y'all with this fire-ass content, man. And y'all make sure y'all stay tapped in. We out.
Crash high, homies outside, just another day. Wartime, got a program, ain't no other way. Loaded strap, Brody took Uber, he said he brought the K. Gang bang, South Central LA, ain't the spot to play. Homicide, body for body, we retaliate. Spin a block when they see us, we make niggas break. Caught one, Indian trophy, so we celebrate. Yo, man's all in my wood, he got hella bait. I'm the type to make my own way, I had to navigate. He ain't talking, but he don't walk it, he don't demonstrate. Indecisive, marinated thoughts, that make you hesitate. Investigate, yeah, you a snitch. If you elaborate, said she don't know what it could be, but she feeling me. It gotta be the way that I talk, or it's my energy. Reputation up in the streets, habitual chemistry. No, I ain't rich, not yet, but bitch, I finna be.